still interested in acquiring Iranian oil after this?
Well, we'll see. I mean, we have a very good relationship with Iran right now, as hard as it is to believe. And I think it's a combination of about 4 weeks of bombing and a very powerful blockade. The blockade is maybe more powerful than the bombing, if you want to know the truth.
President Trump yesterday addressing the effectiveness of the U.S. blockade, and just moments ago, CENTCOM posting a new video showing a destroyer directing a merchant vessel to return to an Iranian port. Watch this.
Blue Sky 4, this is U.S. Navy Warship 115. Request you return to original port of call in Iran. How copy? Over.
Copy, sir. Thank you very much. Copy, sir. Me alter to Iran. Thank you.
Blue Sky 4, this is U.S. Warship 115. I understand you will return to your previous port of call in Iran. This is U.S. Warship 115 standing by on channel 16. Out.
That's incredible, listening to that exchange and the response. I will return to Iran now. Yes, probably a very good idea. Joining us now, Mark Montgomery, Senior Fellow for the Foundation for Defense of Democracies and retired U.S. Navy Rear Admiral with a ton of experience in the region. And it's always good to have you with us again, Admiral. Thank you for joining me. So the big headline this morning is this announcement from the Foreign Minister, Araghchi, that the Strait is open. And President Trump just posted on Truth Social moments ago, Iran has just announced that the Strait of Iran is fully open and ready for full passage. Thank you! Exclamation point. Your reaction to this, Admiral?
If this is true, this is good news. I would caveat nearly everything I hear from the Iranian administration from the IRGC is if this is true, because they have lied, rope-a-doped, delayed, obfuscated for 47 years. So we need to be careful here. But if it's true, it's validation that we did have a very effective blockade, that in the end, the immediate application of a blockade that held back about $13 to $15 billion a month worth of Iranian fossil fuels, about $300 billion a year, which Iran critically needs to rebuild after 45 days of bombing of the rest of their industrial base. That blockade had its desired effect, which is to change IRGC policy, and it really demonstrates who's in charge of the Straits of Hormuz. The United States, when it desires to, is in charge of flow through the Straits of Hormuz.
Yeah, I think, Iran, after all the bombing, decided that this was their biggest leverage point to cut off the strait. And then it appears realized through very tough negotiation and reality that they were losing just hundreds of millions of dollars every day on their own lifeblood for their own economy, which, of course, fuels their defense and their reconstruction and all of that stuff. I'm not sure how much they care about the terrible economy that the Iranian people are experiencing. But I wonder about this. How much pressure do you think China has been exerting with their friends in Iran on this development today?
So that's a great question. Historically, China is a non-player. They tend to shirk any responsibility during international events pretty consistently since 1949. However, this was starting to hurt. This hurts them long term, not because China needs the fuel. China has pretty good reserves. They have a ton of coal. They have renewables, nuclear power. But China needs everyone else's economies to be cooking. They're a broadly export-based economy, and they could not. So China was feeling economic pressure, but kind of in a ricochet effect from other economies. So do I think they may have pressured Iran? Maybe. Do I think that they were a significant player? Probably not. I think the bigger player is what the president said.
Yeah.
The bombing campaign followed by the cutting off of the money.
So, when I look at this and we read about what's going on with AI, which I know is an area of expertise for you as well, looking into the future, this was a very conventional military situation with bombing campaigns and blockades. What do you think Iran potentially, as they try to survive the IRGC, what do they shift to as a power play?
Well, you're absolutely right. They're going to have to look at different asymmetric threats. They tried a traditional asymmetric threat, get a long-range, intermediate-range ballistic missile and a nuclear weapon, or a long-range intercontinental ballistic missile and a nuclear weapon. We prevented that. So what they will look at now, I think, are more cyber tools, bio-based tools, so whatever they feel that they can use to bring pressure on the United States, to get leverage on the United States. Their cyber attacks were effective against a singular companies in the United States during the last 45 days, not against sectors like China and Russia. They can affect like water and energy, full sectors.
Yeah. That's why we need to pay really close attention to these new developments in these AI hacking programs, essentially, that are unleashed in a lot of places now. And we'll see what's next. Admiral Montgomery, thank you very much. Great to have you with us today.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.